Hello and welcome along to the Bunch of Punts Betting Podcast, your specialist show for football long shot bets. The first of three Easter weekend podcasts brings you lots of bets for Good Friday's action and a little bit from Thursday night. EFL Non League finishing off with a 20-ish to 1 and 67 to 1 pod bets double. Let's get into it. It's Easter weekend, which means we've got wall-to-wall EFL football on Friday, Premier League Saturday, Premier League Sunday, and then more EFL football on Monday. Are you buzzing?
I can't wait. I've got 3 games over the 4 days, all in good weather. So yeah, it's going to be a exciting weekend of footy.
What games are you going to?
Eastbourne away with Worthing on Friday. Then Brentford away with Brighton on Saturday, and then Dorking at home with Worthing on Monday. Both non-league games sold out, so it should be a cracking few days.
Oh my God, yeah, and the state of play in the south is mouth-watering.
Yeah, on Friday I'm shitting it because I've got Eastbourne outright at 40s, who will leap for a Worthing with a win, who haven't lost at home for over a year. But then obviously I support Worthing, and then Truro are playing Torquay that day. Another title clash, yeah, and then Worthing Dorking separated by about 3 points. It's going to be a nervy few days.
A nervy few days. So, with all the football, I'll quickly run through our plans. We've got, obviously, this show for Good Friday coming out ASAP. Well, you'll be listening to it. We're going to do Good Friday fixtures in the EFL, a bit of non-league as well, and then it'll probably come out later today. We've got the EPL, the Premier League bets for the weekend, and then sometimes on Sunday we'll be doing, what do they call Monday over Easter? Is it just Monday? Easter Monday, of course. Yeah, we'll do another show for those fixtures. So much football, so many bets to be had. Quickly before we get into it, we'll start off with non-league nerds. I'll just give you the state of play in each division. The Championship looks like a 2-horse race for the title. Leeds and Burnley at the minute. Guaranteed top 6, Leeds, Burnley, Sheffield United and Sunderland. Relegation all to be confirmed in League 1. Title is done. Birmingham have won it. Birmingham are promoted. Guaranteed top 6, Birmingham, Wrexham, Wickham. Relegation still to be confirmed. Burton making a real fist of it down there in the 3rd tier. And then the best division, obviously, in the Football League, League 2, so unpredictable. Champions, to be confirmed. Promoted, to be confirmed. Guaranteed top 7, nobody. Relegation, that looks a little bit like it's done, but it's still to be confirmed. And this weekend is going to go a long way to deciding it. So, shall we get into it? Right, non-league nerds then, you've got a few picks for the Good Friday's action. Let's hear them.
Yeah, so I'll start with, I've got 2 in the National League. Gateshead York, I've gone York win and both teams score 4s. I wouldn't say a wobble because York have still put up a really, really good title charge. Barnet, other than the last 2 games, had won like 12 or 13. Like Barnet had just steamrolled it. It's impossible to keep up with them. But York, I wouldn't say within touching distance, 6 off with 4 to go. So last 2 results for either side has given York a bit of a hope, but there's no chance unless they win all 4 and Barnet somehow drop a few points. It's not going to happen. So, but they've got nothing to lose. York, they're not going to finish 3rd because they've basically got 2nd secured. So they know they've got a home playoff. End the season on a high. They Hinshelwood has just been ruthless. I think York have had a few struggles this season where he's got a big squad. He's tried to be too nice and rotate and fit different players in. I think he's just realised, fuck it. I still maintain York have got the best team in the league, despite them coming 2nd. Just Hinshelwood has realised that and just gone for the jugular. Last 4 games, they've scored 17 goals, including putting 7 past Aldershot, 4 past Rochdale, 3 past Wealdstone, and then I can't remember, they beat someone else by 4 goals. Yeah, they've just been ridiculous last few games. They're just sticking with the team, and I think he's going to do the same. They're going to go to Gateshead and attack them, and Gateshead have won the last 2, but both were nervy. 3-2 win at Forest Green where they nearly let it slip, and 2-1 at home to Wealdstone, I think it was. And yeah, they lost 6 in a row before that, and it's just their games are averaging 3.15 goals, so they're known for high scoring chaos. And I think with York going at them, Gateshead, a point will do Gateshead, but if York go into an early lead, that'll put pressure, and York are relentless. Gateshead pushing, York can hit a few past them. So yeah, York win and both teams score 4s for me. And then this bet just looks so stupid, like looking at the table, but I've got Dagenham Ebbsfleet to score over 1.5 goals at 4s. So Ebbsfleet are shit. They're rock bottom. I think they're like 20 points off even 23rd. They've been relegated for ages, basically. But last four games, they've scored 3 at Aldershot, 2 at home to Altrincham, 2 at Hartlepool, and 4 at home to Sutton. They've only taken 6 points away from home all season, haven't won. And it's just one of them. Just what have you got to lose? I'm going to keep saying that a lot this podcast, but a lot of these people, just their fans haven't won away. They haven't won away all season. I can imagine Dagenham's one of the more local aways, and I can see them taking a decent crowd. They're going to want to put on a show for the crowd, so I can just see them just going for the jugular. And yeah, it's just their current form, and they're playing Dagenham at the perfect time. They're in dire straits. Again, I mentioned it on the podcast like 3 months ago, I wanted to back them for relegation when they were like 13th, 14th, and they just continued to slide. And yeah, they're in the relegation zone. They're probably going to get relegated now because of Boston's form. I don't know if you've seen, but there's been a lot of controversy on Twitter about their new Egyptian investment. Not really, like they've just got like a YouTuber with 100k. It seems like it's a big investment, but if you dig deeper, he doesn't have ridiculous amounts of money, and he's basically saying, "Oh, I feel like a child playing FIFA and everything." So Dagenham are just fucked. The fans aren't happy. I can see a lot of protests, and it's a game absolutely nothing to lose. Dagenham everything to lose. So. Yeah, absolutely on the front foot. So them scored 2 goals at 4s. Then dropping down to the National South. Again, I'm going with a Hemel Hempstead angle versus Chesham. Both teams score in both halves at 13s. Keep it simple. Both teams are mid-table, but both have lofty ambitions for next season. Obviously, I mentioned it before. I interviewed the Hemel manager, and he was saying next season they're going to be among the best in the league. They've got investment. He's sort of trying new stuff out, and he said when he went to Worthing, he got taught football in Leicester and tried to play on the front foot, but he's maintaining that. He just wants to play front-footed football, and I think it's time to experiment. So I can see it. And Chesham, the same, first season at this level, they've secured it. Why not have a bit of fun? And Hemel have seen both teams score land the most at home in the league, and Chesham have seen both teams score land the most away in the league. So it's just two teams with good history for it, playing each other. I think it's a perfect matchup. No pressure on either team. And then final bet. I've literally got fuck all written down for this, but Welling to beat Maidstone at 5.75. Welling are relegated unless they win, so incentive for them. They're relegated anyway, but they're going to have to win. And Maidstone are a few points clear of... No, Maidstone are just outside the playoffs. They've dropped out. They've been in the title race. Western-super-Mare's form, coupled with Maidstone's bad form, has seen them drop out, and I think the pressure is getting to them a bit as well, and it's another one. Welling got fuck all to play for really, other than I know safety, but yeah, they're down unless they win all 4, which they won't. They are shocking though, Welling. But the reason I'm backing them is I've been to Welling away with Worthing. Worthing have won like 5 games on the bounce, but Worthing were in ridiculous form. Welling were in shocking form. Worthing turned up, and Worthing had a couple good chances to score, but Welling did a number of them. 2-0, big physical side. The pitch is absolutely diabolical, and so I just can't see. I can just see Welling physicality in the pitch having a big say at 5.75. So yeah, that's all for non-league for me.
This will not be beaten. 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 It's going to get beaten.
Into the EFL, the real meat and bones for this weekend. And we were saying just before we started recording, you can get made look really stupid in game weeks like this, because we're at the stage of the season now where, you've already alluded to in the non-league section, where standards need to be taken with a pinch of salt. Not most games, but a lot of games, teams have got something to play for, and how certain teams respond to pressure is completely different. And if you can get a grasp on that, then there is money to be made. So I've got some big prices today. I'll kick us off in the Championship, where I think Plymouth are too big at 7-1 to win at the Riverside. That's with Betfair and Paddy Power. And the thinking is, basically, Middlesbrough are pretty bad against the bottom 6. They've won 5 of 11 this season, and they dropped points in 8 of 12 last season. They've also been known to struggle against sides who aren't bothered about the ball. They'll just say, you have it. And Plymouth tick both boxes. They're ranked third fewest for average possession, just under 44%. So, crudely, I've gone back across Middlesbrough's results under Carrick since he took charge in October 2022 against sides averaging 44% possession or less in the Championship. It's 23 games, they've won 13, drawn 5, lost 5. Against Millwall and Derby this season, they have lost. So they've got a win percentage of 56% against possession-shy teams and a win percentage of only 39% against teams who finished or are in the bottom 6 across the last 2 seasons. So there's plenty of encouragement, particularly from the fact that they've only got a 39% win record against bottom 6 teams across, the last 23 games. So Plymouth at 7-1 are too big in that sense. That I also think they're too big because if you look at the price Middlesbrough's opposition have been when they've played at home against the current bottom 6, they've all been a point shorter. In fact, you'd have to go back to when Portsmouth went there in August and drew. That's been the only team currently in the bottom 6 to go off bigger than Plymouth are this weekend. And Muslich's men are making a real fist of survival. They're taking 10 points across the last 18. And I think the most recent win in the most recent game against Sheffield United just encapsulates their never say die attitude. They scored twice in the final 10 minutes. So they'll be buoyed heading up to the North East. Obviously, another caveat is they are the worst travellers in the division, but you look at them more recently, they've only got 9 points on the road, but 7 of those have come across the last 8 away games, so there's definite improvement there. So there's 3 or 4 reasons why I think they are literally just too big of a price, so they've got to be taken based on that. I think that, having said that, it's only half a point play, because all those things I've just said, they are still, bottom of the league, on goal difference. They're still one of the worst travellers, but there's plenty of encouragement based on the recent form and Borough's statistics. Where to next?
Yeah, so I'm going to Blackburn versus Millwall, and a Millwall win at 3.2. Blackburn are just season's just faded into nothingness now. They won against Luton to halt an 8-game winless streak, and since coming in, Ismail's struggled in charge. There's been a lot of protests about Rudy Gestede. Somehow he's managed to wangle himself in as director of football. So no idea what experience he has there. Chairman's obviously, the Venkis are still there. Don't like him. It's just Ewood Park's going to be half empty. It's just not a good place to be at the moment. Blackburn, their season's just dwindling out. It's really toxic. Whereas Millwall come in just 3 points off the playoffs, and they've just gone under the radar. They might just do it, sneak in. Everyone's been talking about Coventry, West Brom, Borough. Millwall just come in out of nowhere. They've had 4 wins from their last 5, including a 1-0 win over Borough and a 1-0 win at Sheffield United. And I just think there's a lot to like about this Millwall side. They're so used to being like a brute team with like loads of set piece threat. They've got that with Cooper and Kramer. They've got the attacking flair from Ivanovic and Nigali. They've got technical midfielders like Denort. They're a really well-rounded team, and I think they don't get enough credit. And I just can't make out why they're so big at a Blackburn side who basically just given up. So yeah, Millwall at 3.2, I think, for me.
Nice. Before I forget, I've actually got a bet for tonight. If you're listening to this on your commute home or whatever, Bradford host Notts County, and it's on the telly, which gives us a rare chance to back League 2 player cards. Referee's okay, but Bradford's left wing back Teo Adaramola is 5-1 for a card. I've had half a point on that with Bet365. Basically, as is so often the case with these youngsters, he's on loan from Crystal Palace, and when they've barely played any professional football sometimes you see him get a glut of cards during their first sort of like taste of lower league professional football, and this has been the case with Adaramola. I think he's got 3 bookings in 11 starts. 4 bookings in 14 starts. 3 of those starts came in League One with Stockport in the first half of the season, and since dropping to League Two, he's got 3 in 11 starts for Bradford. So I'm going to have a punt on him tonight, Thursday, as we record. And before I forget, another bet back to Good Friday in the Championship, Swansea v Hull. I'm doing Hull double chance, Panda card at 9-1, 365. Hull win, Panda card at 18-1. Half a point on that, a point on the double chance. And I always say it, referee Ben Toner. And I always say, whenever you get a chance to back a keeper card, away result, when he's in charge of a game, do it. And I never have the stats, but I've just quickly pulled through how many keepers he's booked. So, Matthew, play the game. He's taken charge of 37 games this season. How many keepers do you think he's booked?
I'm going to say 13.
20.
Yeah, obviously over 1 in 2. That's ridiculous.
20 keepers. It's absolute madness. In his last appearance, he booked Carlisle's keeper in an away win. He also booked Port Vale's keeper in a home win. That was so that's 2 in his last 4. He didn't, annoyingly, even though Swansea got a draw at Ellen Road, he didn't book the keeper there. But he booked Sheffield Wednesday's keeper in a 3-0 win. He booked, I'm just going to end up going through them all. But crucially, he has booked Panda in a 3-1 win at Stoke. That was in September. I think, off the top of my head, that card came really early. I can't quite remember. But, I think he's taken charge of 2 Hull games. They've won 1, drawn 1. 1 was at home, and he's booked the keeper once. So, it's just you've got to do it. Now I've told you about the stats. 20 keepers carded in 37 games, 2 in the same game. He's just an absolute nutter, and it's got nothing to do with backing this angle, but there is a nice bit of I don't know what to call it, but basically I'm on Hull to go down. I tipped him at the start of the season on the anti-post show on Bunch of Punts, and if they do win or pick up a result, it's gonna stick a knife through that punt, but hopefully Panda will get carded, so it'll soften the blow a little bit. But yeah, Ben Toner, 20 keepers booked in 37 appearances. Please keep your eyes peeled for whatever game he's on. If it's a championship game or an early kickoff in the lower league, cards will be priced, and you just got to hammer into him at any given opportunity. I won't put anybody off Swansea and their keeper, but I just don't really see the appeal, to be honest. With them being at home, although the referee is more than capable. So if you did want to, you'd be having 3 points, a point on the home win, a point on the keeper, double chance. You'd be laying 3 points. So it would technically be worth it, but I'm going to try to be a little bit more clinical and just go for the away card. Where are you going next?
Yeah, the big game on Friday between Derby and Luton. I've got Milanik Ali 3+ shots for Luton at 3.75. I stupidly didn't write down my notes of that, but I was looking at it on StatsHub, obviously, and I think he's had 4 and 3 or 4 and 5 over his last 2 starts since coming from Exeter. He's a player that's come through the ranks. He was at Halifax, went to Exeter, and now seems to be starting at Luton. And yeah, he's just been popping shots off. And in a game like this, where I can see Luton, a draw doesn't really suit Luton, does it? So they're going to need the win. And in attacking areas, and you've always got the safety net of super subs. So if Ali's popped a couple shots and isn't with it, someone like Morris or Adebayo will come on. So yeah, him at 3 shots at 3.75. As ever, if you want to check the stats for yourself, go on StatsHub, find it easily enough. And same game, Craig Forsyth to score at 14s with Sky Bet, half a point. I gave Matt Kirby a shout out last week with the thingy, and he sort of pointed me towards Forsyth's shot, so I've gone with him to score at 14s. Got 3 goals in 30 this season, so nothing spectacular, but he has moved position. Again, on StatsHub, if you look, you can see the stats and you can see what position they've been playing in. And if you look at Forsyth's stats, there's a lot of zeros there when he's been at centre back. But now he's at left wing back. He's had 2, 1 and 3 shots in the 3 games he's played left wing back. He had 2 on target against, who did they play on the weekend? Portsmouth. He's had shots he had shot against Burnley, a couple against Swansea, and he's a dual threat. He's up for set pieces, so he's a threat from set pieces. But also the way Derby play with wing backs, he's up in open play quite a lot. So I think 14s against a Luton team they should beat is worth half a point with Sky Bet.
Absolutely. Sticking in the same game, and I'm really pissed off you hadn't done these bets again because I thought they were cracking. Harness Card 4-1 with 365. He's got 10 for the season. Of course, I'm talking about when did you bring this to everyone's attention? I can't. Swansea. Yeah, and it didn't quite.
He got booked, didn't score. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't get why you're not carrying on with it because it's a brilliant angle.
He didn't get booked in the last 2, so.
So what? He's got 10. Right,
I'll have a point on the card then at 5.
Thank you. Matthew shrewdly tipped him to score as well. He's 5.5 this time. He was considerably bigger, but I still think that's too big for someone operating up front. So I'm having a point on him to score as well. And then greedily doing the golden card again at 25s and the bracing card again at 150-1. I'm having half a point on the gold card, quarter of a point on the brace card. It's just exactly the same as what everything Matthew said about Swansea at the time. That game against Swansea was a big game. And this one is an even bigger game in the context of the season. He's playing up front. He's got loads of cards. So, yeah, wrapping them all up in some silly bet builders is defo the way to go. I'm just looking now. 2.75 points staked across the whole bunch. If he scores or gets a card, we're obviously in profit. And then if he gets really greedy with it, we're up considerably. So, yep, that is my plays for the big one in the Championship on Good Friday. 12:30 kickoff, so don't get caught out by that. Shall we go to League 2 next, where Swindon had to... Oh, you got a Championship one first, don't you?
Yeah. I don't blame you for skipping over it, because looking at it, I was telling you it's such a stupid bet. So I'm backing a player who's made 6 appearances in the Championship and hasn't made a single foul. I'm backing him to get a yellow card. It's Watford Burnley, Caleb Wiley to be booked, but he's 9.5 with Sky Bet. Obviously, he's that price for a reason, but whenever I see a fullback that big, I'm like, I have to sort of dig in. And he got one in his 3 starts in League One this season. So he's not a stranger to a card. He had a shit MLS record, so I'm not selling it very well. But it's just purely because he's up against Edwards. Burnley played Norwich last week. McLean has a shit foul record. Got moved to left back and made 2 fouls against him. Edwards is a foul-winning man, winning from 2.18 per 90. When he gets subbed, they'll bring on another exciting wing. I just think, a fullback against someone like Edwards, regardless of his record, 9.5 is too big. So I'm on a point on that with Sky Bet.
Lovely stuff. I was eager to take us to League 2 because I've got my favourite bet of Good Friday's action from there. It comes from Grimsby's clash against Swindon, where Swindon, I need to update this actually, they've shortened from 72 to 100 to 30. So not massive, but they are shortening. I'm having 2 points on them to win. And basically, right, the price, obviously the most important thing, it's massive. Since Ian Holloway took charge at the end of October, he's done 29 games. They picked up 46 points, 12 wins, over that time. 10 draws, 7 losses, and the points tally of 46 is the 7th most in the division. Obviously, Grimsby, they are actually 7th in League 2, but I feel like Swindon have been priced up as a mid-table side, or even worse. Granted, that is where they are in the real League 2 table, but their form under Holloway paints a very different picture. They are like playoff worthy if the season began when Holloway took charge, and that's where I think they might be next season. They'll be gagging for the 25-26 campaign. But the Robins have won 3 on the spin, and basically if you look at the prices of that teams have gone off at Grimsby recently. Swindon aren't even priced as mid-table. They're priced as like some shy dossers. Morecambe, 24th. They went off at 4.88. Bear in mind, Swindon are 4.33 as we record. Tranmere went off shorter. They're 21st. Fleetwood, 13th. I think they're a place below Swindon. They went off less than 2-1. Carlisle, 23rd, went off shorter. Gillingham, 17th, went off shorter. Obviously, there's caveats and everything to consider with each one of those games. But looking at the whole, Swindon are simply too big. That's just the price. Then you've got to factor in the narrative. This fixture is laced with some real tasty narrative because Ian Holloway returns to Grimsby. It was his last job before he had like a 1-2 season sabbatical. It didn't end well. You told me before that Grimsby hate Holloway. Is that true?
Yeah, they despise him, yeah.
Exactly. And Holloway, I don't think he's too fond of Grimsby either. And knowing the type of character he is, I don't know him personally, but you'd assume he'll be double keen to get one over his former employees, especially if there's a bit of bad, I don't know, opinions of each other. I just think the narrative, coupled with the price, is an absolutely wonderful bet to back Swindon. Shortened slightly since I put it in the record, so I'll track it as 4.33, but I'm having 2 points on that. I just think it's a ridiculous price. You've got a bet for this one as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've just gone a tad greedier and gone win and both teams to score at 8.5. I've basically said most of what you said. Grimsby are just a very weird team, and with the tipsy-turvy nature of League Two, I'm just happy to back, again, with a big price. League Two's just... I've found, I don't know about you, this season in my EFL columns or everything, looking at League Two, I've definitely down quite a bit back in League Two, with the other leagues saving me a bit. But yeah, League Two's just stupid. But Grimsby in uncharted territory, looking for promotion to League One, and the late wobble against Harrogate in the last game just sort of suggests maybe they are feeling the pressure a bit. Their home form, as well as being their detriment this season, they only ranked 13th for home form, and they've scored 30, conceded 30 at home, so the games have been a bit chaotic. 13 out of 21 at home have seen both teams score. The same total as Swindon away games, 13 out of 21. They've scored 11 and conceded 5 over the last 3 games, and they've just had some bonkers results under Holloway, like 5-1 wins, 5-4 wins, and the handbrake is off against a side under immense pressure. And Swindon are a side, Holloway's a proud man, he's going to want to finish as high as possible, especially how low Swindon were when he came in. I know the difference between 9th and 13th is, in the grand scheme of things, who the fuck remembers who came where, like, as long as you're in that bracket. But Holloway will, and Holloway wants to finish as high as possible, wants to beat Grimsby and turn up and sort of ruin their parade. So yeah, I'm with you on that, but I've just been greedy and added both teams to score.
No, I love it. And the real interesting thing about both these prices are 8.5 away win and both teams to score. Generally, that's 11-2, so 2 points shorter. And the just the straight away win is as short as 11-4, and it's generally 3-1 now. So 365 are leading the price on both of these bets, but it looks like it's only trending one way, and that is a Swindon shortening. So get on while you can. I am all done for my bets. We've got a couple of long shots, but you still got a couple from League One and League Two, I think.
Yeah, so I'll stick with League Two for now. Bromley to beat Morecambe, and both teams scored 3.75. As you mentioned earlier, in just the permutation, Morecambe are all but down. Like, anything but a win, I think they're down, and they're just going to have to... Morecambe side, Derek Adams wants to sit in away from home for straight, and you can't do that against Bromley. He's going to have to go for it, and I just think that breeds goals. I just think Bromley are safe, can't get playoffs. The handbrakes are off. They're going to want to put on a show against a shit team in front of their buoyant home fans, and that's been evident. Over 2.5 has landed in 6 of the last 7 Bromley games. They won 4-0 last time. Morecambe are going to have to come onto them, which doesn't suit them, I think, and it could lead to Morecambe scoring, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Bromley put quite a few past them. So yeah, Bromley winning both teams scored 3.75, and then I've gone for another win and both teams score away team, and it is 8.5 again for this. It's another stupid bet, but it's Barnsley to beat Leyton Orient, and both teams score 8.5. As we sort of contradict ourselves a lot, because we hate backing teams with nothing to play against, but there's special circumstances, as we mentioned with Swindon earlier, and if it's a Stevenage type or a Fleetwood or someone like that who are safe in mid-table in their respective leagues, they're happy with that. That's their aim. They're safe. They're not going up. They're just happy. Someone like Barnsley, they had promotion ambitions, playoff ambitions. They don't want to be finishing 13th. As I said, the difference between 9th and 13th doesn't look big, but for some owners and managers it is. So Barnsley's still got a lot to play for. Hurahane's still trialling for the main job. It wouldn't surprise me if Barnsley owners went for him, like the cheap option. So yeah, he's going to want to impress, and I don't see why Barnsley don't go for it. They just come off a 4-1 win, I think it was, at home to Bolton, where you mentioned that they changed formation to a 4-3-3, make them more dynamic. And I was looking at the Barnsley team, and it sounds stupid considering they've been a bit poor this season, but I just think there's a lot to like about it. You've got Humphreys, Keeler, Dunn and Jallow up front, got Phillips and Connell midfield, quite a few decent defenders. I don't know, I just really like the Barnsley side, and I just think, again, they're far too big. Away from home, they've got the 5th best record. They've won just under half of their games, 10 out of 21. And looking at it, Orient have only taken 2 more points at home than Barnsley have away. So it's not like Orient are blowing teams away at home. And again, I know Barnsley on the beach aren't really in the best of form, and I know Orient are in form, so it would make sense to back the host. But again, I don't know if Orient have ever been in the Championship. I could be wrong, I don't know. But for so long they've been League One, League Two, National League. It's sort of uncharted territory for them, and I don't know if they can handle the pressure. If they do, fair play, but I just think Barnsley nothing to play for, Orient everything to play for. It just suits a team like Barnsley. So I'm having a point on them to win, and both teams score 8.5.
Leyton Orient were Division 3 South champions in 1955 to 1956 season, and spent 20 of the next 25 seasons in the second division before being relegated at the end of 81-82. They've not been back to that level since. The golden years were the 1960s and 70s.
So that's nearing on 50 years without playing in the Championship. So yeah, it's just I just think they'll be feeling the pressure. No one expects them to get this far, and it'll be a sold out home crowd with a lot of expectations. And I know sold out home crowd isn't the best to back against, but a club like Leyton Orient, it's not going to be pure passionate Leyton Orient fans. You'll have a lot of tourists, a lot of West Ham, a lot of Tottenham fans, and that normally doesn't bode well for atmosphere or stuff. And I think Barnsley can really capitalise on that.
Absolutely, yeah. I love that bet, and that is the last one for this section.
Keep punting! Keep fucking punting! YTP, baby!
Long shots. I'll keep this short, and I'll keep it sweet. We both like Swindon, we both like Barnsley. Matthew's really greedy, and I've just added this one into the record. So we're doing... You what?
I've literally just got it up now, the win and both teams to score double.
Yeah. I was doing it while you were talking. So, Swindon to win and Barnsley to win, 365. You can get that at 20.57. We're having half a point on that. And then the other pod bet is them both to win and both teams to score. I'll put it in as 67 to 1. We'll have a quarter a point on that, would you say?
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah. Make sure you do it in the bet builder, though, because you'll get the early payout. And then if said team goes on to drop points, it's still a winner, and we'll be tracking it as such. It's just a little hack. Right, that is everything for the first of 3 shows coming up over the next couple of days. Before we go, Matthew, quickly recap your bets, please.
Yeah, so from non-league, I've gone York win and both teams to score at Gateshead at 4s. Ebbsfleet to score over 1.5 goals at 4s against Dagenham. Both teams score in both halves in Hemel Hempstead versus Chesham at 13s. And Welling to beat Maidstone at 5.75. Championship, I've gone Mill to win at 3.2 against Blackburn. Millinock Alley 3+ shots at 3.75 in Derby Luton. Same game, half a point on Forsyth to score at 14s with Sky Bet. 9.5 Sky Bet for Caleb Wiley Card in Watford Burnley. League 1, I've gone Barnsley winning both teams score 8.5 at Orient. League 2, Bromley win and both teams score at 3.75, and Swindon win and both teams score at 8.5.
Thursday, Bradford v Notts County, that's tonight. 5 to 1 you can get Teo Adaramola to be carded with 365, half a point on that. The early kickoff in the Championship, Derby v Luton, we're having a point each, so 2 points in total on Harney's card. I'm also doing Harney's goal at 9.2, a point on that with 365. And then I'm obviously going to do the golden card and the bracing card. That's at 25 to 1 and 150 to 1 with 365. So half a point on the any timing card and a quarter of a point on the bracing card, just in case. And then I'm doing Plymouth to win at Middlesbrough, 7 to 1 with Betfair and Paddy Power, half a point on that. I'm having 2 points on Swindon to beat Grimsby. That's at 4.33 with Bet365. And then in Swansea's game against Hull, I'm doing Hull double chance and Hull to win alongside their keeper Panda to be carded. It's 9 to 1 for the double chance and 18 to 1 for the win. Half a point on the win, 1 point on the double chance. Both with 365. And if you're having trouble tracking all of these, if you go to our YouTube, I've just put a screenshot of the record over this point, so you can pause it and just look at them all. They'll all be on there. Long shots, we're doing the double Swindon Barnsley. That's at just over 19 to 1 with 365, half a point on that. And then we're doing the same team, Swindon and Barnsley, both to win and both teams to score. That's at 67 to 1 with Bet365, quarter point on that. But please remember, do it via the Bet Builder just in case any one of those teams squanders a 2-goal lead. Right, that is everything. Thank you for your time, Matthew.
Pleasure as always.
Pleasure. Right, and keep your eyes peeled. If you want to subscribe, you can turn your notifications on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, because we've not only got this show, we've got one coming out later today for the Premier League and European football potentially, and then we'll do another show sometime that'll come out sometime on Sunday afternoon for Easter Monday's football. The show coming out later today for the Premier League. I've got 125 to 1. Real silly keeper card result combo. I can't wait to tell you about it. Right, so we'll see you soon and good luck with all your upcoming bets. Catch you on the Flippity Flip.